Hello, welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. Today I have a film review and discussion of Mandy, directed by Panos Cosmatos.
It's crazy evil. You think you're so in love? I'll show you love. They wronged you. You exude the cosmic darkness. It glowed from within, strange and eternal.
If you I've never seen this, I really suggest that you don't watch any reviews and that you just go in cold. And especially if you are a fan of Beyond the Black Rainbow, which I believe was his first major film that came out a few years ago. And that really blew my mind. And this one doesn't disappoint. It has a little more of a plot than Beyond the Black Rainbow. And my review and discussion is going to have spoilers. So if you plan to see it, I would suggest that you don't watch any reviews and just go see it and then come back and look at this review and other reviews. Just the opening alone really got me because it's a drone shot of the forest. I don't know if it was Washington State or Northern California. And King Crimson Starless is playing, so immediately I was hooked. And just everything in this film, the musical references, the visuals, they're all kind of referencing a 1980s almost like heavy metal feeling, although the music that accompanies it, the score, is not heavy metal. The score of this by Johan Johansson is really impressive, and it perfectly fits in with the visuals, the really special visuals that this director brings to cinema. He's really creating something new in the world of cinema, and I feel for a lot of us fans of cinema, this has been something that we've been needing for a long time. So I really encourage all of you to go out and watch this, especially if you like experimental film. Now, when I first saw Beyond the Black Rainbow, I was just blown away by that movie. I felt like I had found a true visual artist, and this one does not disappoint. It really is as good. And in fact, I think for people who are fans of horror will really appreciate this. This is much more of a straight-up plot, revenge plot. Nicolas Cage plays this lumberjack who is in love with this woman named Mandy, and they're living kind of this in this rural area, it's almost like a Richard Lehman novel come to life. It's like kind of backwoods with kind of grim trailers in the middle of the woods, but yet you get this sense that this love story is real. So the film definitely has a heart, and the character of Mandy and this love affair that's going on is definitely the heart. So when what happens to her, which is really horrific, you feel it emotionally. Now, there are some definite moments of black comedy in this film, and it's definitely not for the squeamish. But if you appreciate horror, I think that anyone who likes horror will be able to handle the level of violence in this film. So, but going into it, you should know it's pretty gory. The basic plot is that this young woman, Mandy, is walking along this crimson washed road. So everything's even though they're doing kind of realistic things in their lives, the visuals and the sound tone poem of this film, it's on its own other kind of level. And she is passed by this van of a cult. Their leader is this guy named Jeremiah, who's this failed Christian rock musician, I think, or kind of like a folk singer. And there's a scene where this is revealed that is both like horrifying and kind of really funny. And that's also something that I appreciate about this film. It's scary, and it definitely is scary, but it's also kind of, you could also really laugh at it depending on your mood. So the character Mandy, who's played by Andrea Riseborough, and she is really just very ethereal, like an ethereal beauty, and very unusual looking in this film, and it really works. She almost has like an alien presence. The a lot of the faces in this film are really interesting. All the cult members, they're kind of like a ragtag group of very strange people. And she becomes Jeremiah's latest thing that he wants to recruit her into his group. And so he has this biker gang that called the Black Skulls, who are kind of like these demons. They reminded me of the Cenobites, or even like the prawns in District 9. They kind of looked like that, slimy like that, and they made the clicking sounds. I thought when I first watched it last night and that they were aliens, and then this morning as I was watching it again, I don't know if there's this whole like LSD subplot. So I don't know if by taking this drug that these biker gang members just went completely off the rails and became sort of these demons. But they're like a Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell record album cover come to life. You know, it really is. They're pretty scary. So they come and kidnap Mandy and take over their home. And the cult leader, Jeremiah, expects Mandy to kind of worship at the altar of his naked body. And when she laughs at him, he gets pretty upset. And the director said, when I was looking at an interview with the director this morning, that he said this character is like the horror of the male ego come to life. And I thought that was an interesting way of putting it, because it's like this guy is really a clown, but if you laugh at him, there's hell to pay. So something really horrible happens to her, which I'm not really going to say, but you just have to watch it. Nicolas Cage is forced to watch this horror, and then for the second half of the film, he goes like full tilt, Cage rage, revenge mode. So the whole thing is sort of like a revenge story, at least in the second part. So there's a lot of action, and there's different weapons. There's a very memorable chainsaw duel that I think people will still be talking about in years to come, and a really kind of incredible scene also with a tiger. There are a lot of things in this film that are really like otherworldly and like almost like a heavy metal comic book come to life. In fact, there are some animation sequences in it and some like interesting title sequences that separate the film into different chapters, which kind of reminded me of Lars von Trier a little bit. I felt there was some Lars von Trier influence in this, especially one scene where Mandy comes across this kind of stillborn deer, it looks like, and there's some like animal imagery. There was also, I also got like a David Lynch vibe in this sense of the cult kind of reminded me of Frank's group in Blue Velvet, that kind of a scary group mentality. So there was a lot going on. The film's 2 hours, but to me it wasn't slow at all. I mean, the pace is not like an action film, even though it goes through, like there's like action sequences. It doesn't have that kind of pace. It still is in that kind of slow, kind of meditative pace, which I particularly really appreciated. I think the director hit so many really great notes in this film. If you like experimental film, if you like kind of that heavy metal magazine type of vibe, and if you're a Nick Cage fan, because he's really good in this. I mean, there's this one scene where he does his like, freak out. He freaks out a lot in the film, but it's not, to me, it didn't feel campy. It really felt heartfelt, and I think that is good acting. So I'm going to link below. Grumpy Andrew's Horror House did a video about Nick Cage and his acting style, which I thought was really good. And I watched that before I went in to watch Mandy. And I'm glad I did, because it made me reflect on Nicolas Cage's style. And I think he is really doing something different. And it's a real treat to watch it in a film like this. I think this film, between the director's vision, the casting, The writing, I feel like the writing in this one was stronger than Beyond the Black Rainbow. It had more of a plot anyway. The music and the visuals really felt like they were in step the whole way. So I really loved it, and I'm really looking forward to this director's next film. So thanks for stopping by my haunted library, and let me know what you think of this film. Thanks. I'll see you soon. Bye.